Maybe you heard my lawnmower in the background. That's my son mowing the lawn. I'd like to create an actual intention today. This is a bowl that my daughter made. It's a piece of pottery that she threw in a pottery class she took when she was in high school. And in it are these artistic sentiments of loving kindness that I made, and they're available in our tokens of mindfulness. And on the back are the sentiments of metta that I read all the time during our recovery Dharma meetings and our Sate Seva meetings. And so today, I'd like to read this one for you. And this one reads, May I reflect the splendor of life. May I reflect the splendor of life. Welcome, friends, one and all. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in this extraordinary community. I want you to know that we're recording this part of our practice today so we can share it far and wide on the interwebs and the interconnections that are all out there. Please know that when it comes to the part where we open up for community sharing, the recording is turned off so that we can share with confidentiality, respecting and holding sacred each other's privacy. For the month of July, friends, we're exploring in the Spokane Sangha the third element, the third aspect to the Noble Eightfold Path, which is wise action. And one of the things that we're doing that's rather unique is we're taking that concept and we're reimagining it with new language. So for me to cultivate wise action, I have to learn how to be real with myself. And in being real, I have to look at all the ways that I'm being false. And yesterday, we were talking about how we work this concept of wise action and being real and being false when we offer someone the gift of an apology. Something has gone awry, some misunderstanding, something happened that wasn't intended. Maybe you said something, but it was carried upon a tone that was as prickly as an Arizona cactus, and you didn't mean for it to be that way, but that's how it was heard in another person's ears. And so you have a conversation and you want to be able to apologize for it. And one of the things that we were exploring yesterday was how we can apologize without making excuses, without sharing our rationale, to simply be present that somebody else's feelings are hurt. And when somebody else shares with courage, hey, that hurt my feelings. Another way of hearing that is, hey, I'm asking you to help me hold my vulnerability. Can we do that? Do we have the capacity to do that? You know you don't the minute you start to get defensive. Well, I didn't mean it like that. Right there is indication that you do not have the capacity to be present to somebody's vulnerability. They probably know you didn't mean it. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for, oh my God, I hurt you. That is not something I would ever intend to do, and yet it happened. Wow, I'm sorry. That was unskillful. That was unconscious of me. That was regrettable. Please tell me more so I can learn to do things differently next time. That's it. Today, I'd like to explore the receiving end of this. Because how often do we receive someone's apology? Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I know you didn't mean it. Just, it's okay. And really, all of this frenetic waving and accepting is because the discomfort that's arising, you just want to get on the other side of it. And yet, like Morpheus from the Matrix, the incident lingers like a splinter in the mind. You haven't really accepted the apology. It doesn't really feel okay. I mean, maybe you've accepted it, but you're not okay. So, how do you receive? How does that work for you? What can we do with that? Hmm. Today, we're going to tiptoe very, very gently, very gently. And we're going to tiptoe into the territory of one of the noble reminders in Buddhism. Buddhist love lists, right? So there's the 4 of this, the 5 of that, the 8 of this, the 12 of this. And the 4 noble reminders are not talked about a lot. They are a cornerstone of my own personal practice. So today, I just want to touch on one of them, but I'll mention all 4, especially if this is new to you. 4 noble reminders. Think of these as a little knock on the door of your consciousness. It's a very gentle tap, 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 tap. The first is take a deep breath here because I want to make sure you're open to receive this. The first noble reminder is you have a precious human life. Exactly as you are, friends. Exactly as you are. Your past, your present, what's going to happen in the future, all of it, every bit of it is precious. You are the only one of you. It is so rare, and you are so precious. That's the first noble reminder. The second noble reminder is the nature of reality is impermanent. Everything is subject to change. How easy it is to say that. How difficult it is to live it sometimes. The third noble reminder is the one that I want to focus on, and that is that we are all subject to karma. Karma means action. And we experience in this life positive actions, punishing actions, neutral actions. Karma is simply that general statement of all of it, positive, negative, neutral. And the propensity to drive and to cling and to focus only on the positive actions and try to ignore the negative actions. Just really try to do only good things. Positive, positive, positive. That actually reflects the fourth noble reminder, which is the folly of samsara. We get ourselves into a heap of misery when we don't grow our capacity for the positive, negative, and neutral as defining qualities of our own lives, the whole of our lives. So, what that means, and I love this language, is when our karma ripens, our positive actions, when they ripen, we see positive things. Good things happen. When our negative karma ripens, we see and experience negative things. Now, our history and our legacy of mythology, in our mythology in the West particularly, treats that dualism as positive is reward and negative is punishment. In Buddhism, it's all neutral. It's all fodder for your awakening. It's all access to seeing the whole of your life and life itself. Life itself is not just sunshine. We have to have storms. We have to have night to accompany day. That makes the whole of life. If we don't, everything perishes. So, in the context of receiving an apology from someone, say you've been hurt, and say you've been hurt by someone who isn't practiced. And so you're kind of bracing for a conversation. In fact, you're not even bracing for a conversation, you're bracing for a showdown. That's a clue right there. And you go to someone and you say, hey, you know, that conversation we had a couple of days ago, it really hurt my feelings. And it really pissed me off, actually. And the other person gives sort of a lukewarm apology. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were so sensitive. And off we go to the races of dysfunctional communication, right? It's so common. And so, what do we do with that kind of apology? Do we accept it? Do we reject it? Or can we put it, the whole exchange, the whole dynamic, into more of a neutral space and accept, wow, I may not be in a really well practiced place to convey this message to this person. I'm still in a place where I'm blaming them for my hurt. So maybe I have a little bit more work to do. And clearly, this person doesn't have the capacity to hold their own actions and apologize with any sincerity. So it doesn't feel good to receive this, and it doesn't feel good to reject it. So, how about we just keep it neutral? What if you have an interaction with somebody you care about, a loved one, and they sincerely apologize? It's the only thing they can do. And you accept it. You really do. Because that's really the only thing you can do. And then you're watching for changes in action, because that's really the measure here, right? So when somebody apologizes for some unskillful behavior, but then they repeat that unskillful behavior over and over and over again, the sincerity of the apology grows weak and it's harder to accept. It becomes obligatory or performative. But if we're really sincere about the practice, then we take in the apology, recognizing this is all the person can do. And yet, I'm not okay. And that piece of it is ours, mine. If somebody hurts me and I let them know and they've received it and they apologize and they're making efforts to change, and I'm still holding a grudge, I'm still harboring some resentment, I still don't feel okay about it, that is indication of my work. And what is that work? Well, in the context of karma, friends, this is my karma ripening. When I have been hurt, somebody apologizes with enormous sincerity. We've had a great conversation. They're making changes. I can see it, but I'm still harboring something. That's my karma ripening. And it's indication that I, just like me, this person hurt me, but just like me, I've hurt someone else somewhere in my life. I may not even remember the exact instance. It doesn't really matter. I don't have to trace back all of the unskillful events in my life. I just can settle into the notion of my karma is ripening. Now, here's where the real work, I think, for me, has happened. Because for the longest time when I was working with karma, I would treat it as, right, my karma's ripening and I'm being punished. And so maybe I should just punish myself. I can't believe I've been so unskillful. I can't believe I'm still holding a grudge and I'm still resentful. What's the matter with me? That is not working with karma ripening. That's not amending the soil for growth. It's just depleting my spirit. When I recognize that my karma is ripening and I'm experiencing hurt because I too have hurt others. That's all it is. It's very neutral. Then, if I can really settle with that, then I'm at a threshold. And the threshold opens into a vast landscape. And that landscape, friends, is compassion. Oh, this hurt that I'm feeling inflicted by this person who loves me. This other person feels this hurt because of me. Oh, I can feel into that. I can heal that. I can understand that. And that understanding informs my next actions. It's like taking a step into the landscape of compassion. And there we begin to experience the life-changing conditions of humility, trust, love. And it's limitless. And what that means is for the rest of our lives, we can work on it. And if you believe in multiple lifetimes, we'll work on it for multiple lifetimes. And the purpose of this work and the point of our wise action is to minimize the harm we inflict in this precious, precious life. It's a tall order. We were created for this. We have everything we need. Breathing in. I can put less harm into the world. Breathing out. I have everything I need. Breathing in. Breathing out. Who knew there would be so much in the simple yet profound act of being present to receive the gift of someone's apology? Thank you, friends. Recording so we can integrate for just 1 second and then have a few announcements and a dedication. And there was a question shared in the chat that I thought was really lovely, and it was addressed a number of times in the personal sharings of what happens when we inflict harm upon ourselves. And really, on the journey of recovery, that is a journey of self-harm in a lot of ways. And what's coming forward for me to remember, and this comes out of the order of interbeing created by Thich Nhat Hanh and the mindfulness trainings that go with it. And it's all about the reduction of violence. So Thich Nhat Hanh was really focused on reducing violence that was happening in his country of origin in Vietnam. But what he did that was so pristine is he took this obvious violence that was happening in the environment around him, and he was inviting practitioners to self-reflect. What is the violence I inflict upon myself? So say I do something harmful and unskillful. In some ways, that's a bit violent. So say I say something that's unskillful. I don't pass it through the gates. I don't say something kind, I don't say something true, and I don't say something that's a benefit. In some ways, that's an act of violence. The remedy, or really the propensity now, is to beat myself up for it, to berate myself, to admonish myself, to scold myself, to numb myself, to do all manner of things. So really, I'm meeting violence with more of the same. So the practice is, how can I do something different? Well, the answer to that is you are limited only by your imagination. There are so many things we could do differently. We could pause, for instance. And the word pause, that action, it almost sounds like a nothing burger, doesn't it? Well, I'll just take a pause. Except that when we really think about what are the letters in the word mean? What if in pause there was presence, awareness, unpacking, space, encouragement? Then we get to something much more profound, all in this little nothing burger called a pause, when really it's rich, full of nurturance, right? So one of the first most simple things we can do to stop harming ourselves is to pause. Before you do anything, pause. I want to thank you all for being here today. What an extraordinary community and collective soul. You honor the Spokane Sangha, you honor yourselves, you honor me, you honor Lo. Thank you, Lo, so much for helping us hold this incredible, incredible space. Friends, we don't meet this weekend. I'm so sad. So sad. But the good news is we meet next Monday at 6 p.m. and next week is a Sate Seva week. So if you want to join us for Sate Seva, we meet on Wednesday and Sunday at 11 a.m. and we're going to be exploring the mindfulness practice of ambivalence. It's such a fun topic. Most people never explore ambivalence as something positive. So it's really, really fun. Check out the Soul Center website so you can have access to all of our recordings, including the Sate Seva recordings. There's a million of them. We have so much content. Please follow us on YouTube, subscribe. Michelle in Florida is helping us make these little YouTube shorts. They're like less than a minute, I think, even, or a couple of minutes, whatever. And they're so fun. So they're like these little nuggets of yumminess that you can access. Friends, it's all offered freely, and we're so grateful. We've got some activities happening in Soul Center in the coming months. So if you haven't filled out a contact sheet so you can be on our mailing list, please do that. Email me with any thoughts, questions, or concerns. Yes, Lo?
Jasmine, do you need to make an announcement? Is that what you're saying, Jasmine? I think it was Jasmine. Just nod your head or not.
No?
No. Okay. I
Okay.
did. Okay.
All right. All righty. Yeah, thank you. Humana, all the things. Check out the website, all the things. Don't forget, Recovery Dharma is having their global conference at the end of the month. Buddhist Recovery Network is having a conference in Oakland, California, the first weekend of October. Lo and I will be there. And I'll do a teaching on the Balaklohe, which is all about the cultivation of healthy boundaries. And I'm going to have a couple of Sate Seva sessions as well. And so please, please, please come join us for that. That should be an amazing, amazing practice. All right, friends, let's go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. Ah. I love that that's the way we're ending. Make it your own. You know, this is something that Thich Nhat Hanh emphasized as well. And I really resonate with it. Thich Nhat Hanh was my first teacher. He was my introduction into Buddhism. And one of the key teachings was to take these practices and principles and make sure you are breathing them into life wherever you are in the world, whatever culture you have, in whatever legacy you're carrying around, and in whatever time you live. Make it your own. And when I think about Thich Nhat Hanh at the time prior to developing the Order of Interbeing, Vietnam was being blown up, and he was encouraged as a monastic to stay in the temple and meditate and pray. And he's like, nope, no can do, peeps. I have to go out and help people. Their villages are being burned to the ground. Somebody has to help them. And that's how I'm going to put my monastic practice into practice. And unbeknownst to him, he created socially engaged Buddhism. And it created the conditions for him to be considered public enemy number one. And he was exiled from his homeland. Imagine that. Doing something so good in defiance of power to be exiled. And how horrible, and yet without which the world wouldn't know Thich Nhat Hanh. The world wouldn't know the Order of Interbeing. The world wouldn't know the miracle of mindfulness. You never know what's going to happen as a result of your actions. However, what you do know and what you can activate and what we can all activate is the discernment of our actions. And today, the actions today have created so much goodness. And may that goodness ripple far and wide. We may not know the consequences of it, the ripening of it, but we know, we can rest assured it will be sweet. Practice, friends. It makes more practice. Be sure to enjoy every moment of it. And without a doubt, know you are enough. See you next time. Namaste.